Well, this proves it. It was Nick Richards and Nigel Hayes-Davis holding this whole operation together. Psychos and sickos unite for an overreactionary edition of the PHNX Suns post-game show, brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $200. In bonus bets is the Phoenix Suns. They lost that game. Yeah, they lost that game. I don't know how, but they lost 101-97 to the Golden State Warriors, officially dropping the season series against Golden State, who is one seed behind them in the Western Conference. I'm Eric, that's Gil. We got Espo and the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen, but there really wasn't any magic tonight, boys, as the Phoenix Suns, an uncharacteristic collapse for a team that feels like they just got Phoenix Suns themselves by another team.
Yeah, it felt like that for sure. And I said this early on in the game. It felt like the Suns were kind of going through the motions. It felt like a preseason game at times with the energy and just like the overall, I guess, atmosphere, not from the crowd, but just the way that they were interacting and going through the motions. And they took that double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, and I felt like, okay, they figured it out. They've gotten up a little bit. And it kind of just felt like, okay, hey, Golden State, we have a lead. We win. You know, there's no instant payout in the NBA, right? You go up 14 in the fourth quarter, you still have to close and run through the finish line. They didn't do that tonight, and the execution down the stretch was frustrating, uncharacteristic, and the result, the Warriors deserved to win. They dug deep, and they earned it.
That was the least Suns game of the season. It did not play to their character. It did not show the heart, the hustle that they've played with, the intensity defensively. We got like maybe 8 minutes of that. That where we saw it swing in the third into the fourth to go up double digits, and then they just packed it away again. It was probably the worst that we've seen them approach a game. I don't know why. I don't know what caused it. I understand there's injuries, but that was probably the least inspired we've seen them play basketball. And I haven't gotten angry about losses at all this year because I've been like, oh, they're dealing with house money. Tonight's one you get angry at because that was an untalented Golden State team. It was a team where their most talented guys didn't perform at all in Draymond and Podziemski. Instead, you got creative players, guys that look like they're in the witness protection program, hiding who they really are, people that you've never heard of going out there and working you, and Al Horford, a guy that was in college at the same time as me, giving you minutes that actually mattered. This was not a Suns game in any way, shape, or form, and it's the first time this year that I'm actually legit frustrated with the whole damn thing.
By the way, I take the blame for that, not the result, but Eric, before you walked back in here, Espo said, should I be mad? And I said, yeah, this team was up by 14 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, you need to be mad. And
well, I was like trying to convince myself, just no, I'm fine. I'm tapping into the rage tree. I haven't been here in a while. We were there all last season. Well, guess what? You found me there here. And Austin, you're right. Mark Williams was benched for no reason and screwed my bet, too.
Well, you took Suns money line. But
well, that's true. No, but if he was in, they would have won, and he would have scored.
I think a super chat here puts it very well from consistent super chatter Crusader, also a member, $5 super chat, says, I see we decided to warm up some fourth quarter meltdown leftovers from the last season. Can I trade the memory of this game for cash considerations? F the Lakers. So I think it is perfectly acceptable to get mad about this game.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I will say this, once tomorrow hits, let's all move on.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is one of those games that hopefully will not matter in the long run. But these were the Golden State Warriors' leading scorers tonight. Pat Spencer had 20 points. Gui Santos had 18 points. De'Anthony Melton had 17 points. Gary Payton II had 15 points.
The Valley Suns lost to these guys? Is that who we're talking about?
And Al Horford had 13 points tonight. This was a game where, yeah, you're missing Devin Booker and Jalen Green. Guess what? You're missing Devin Booker and Jalen Green the last couple of games, too. And it was offensively a fine performance. Everybody who played scored for the Suns tonight. Yeah, you lost Grayson down the stretch to an injury. We'll talk about that here in a second. You lost Isaiah Livers 3 minutes in to an injury. Thanks, Draymond Green, for that. But it wasn't like oh, man, they're just missing somebody. It was, A, they're not playing who probably should have been playing to close there, which I hope maybe Jordan Ott gets asked about that in the postgame here. And B, that defensive intensity, because the Warriors were just going on a run. They were hitting shots, and some of them were contested, but the rest of them just felt like they were getting in a groove, and there was nothing the Suns did to disrupt that.
No, for sure. It almost felt like, and it was from the get-go, right? Like this Warriors team had a blueprint. They were at a talent deficit with no Steph Curry, no Seth Curry. Kristaps Porzingis has yet to report to the team. Jimmy Butler is out, as we know already. So you think about the names that weren't available. And I know that Devin Booker and Jalen Green were unavailable for the Suns as well, but it seemed like the Warriors were like, look, let's try to win the math problem of outshooting them from three and play harder than them. And the first half, I believe it was an NBA record 37 three-point attempts in the first half. And that's cool, whatever, 37. But they made 15 of them. They made 41% of those 37 three-point attempts to get that advantage. And we said they probably won't go 15-37 in the second half, and they didn't. But it was stuff like that. You talk about Santos. He also had a game-high 7 assists, and I haven't looked it up. That's probably his career high. So you've got Gui Santos as the offensive hub for the Warriors. You're allowing that to happen. Moses Moody, 8 boards. Gary Payton II, 8 boards. As you said, Espo, you just allowed a team to come into your building and beat you the same way that you typically beat teams that are better than you, as if you don't understand the blueprint at all. And that's, I think, the most frustrating part about the way the Suns lost this game.
You let Pat Spencer, a man who does not have a razor guard that works the same on his mustache and his beard.
Number 61.
I mean, hit so many threes in that first half.
The stash of the number.
Dude looks like our sales guy Connor, and he's out there beating our ass in the first half. Look, I know that tomorrow we will be past this, but this team, I don't care if they have injuries. They set the bar where they have. Mm-hmm. They continue to win games. They beat the best teams in the East without Devin Booker and Jalen Green. So, yeah, when you come out and you can't beat the C squad of the Warriors, I'm going to be a little frustrated with it.
7 assists is a new career high for Gui Santos. But look, I think at the end of the day, you can break this down in a couple of different ways, and we can't get too far into this without talking about that final possession, right? Because not only was it an awful shot, like it was a terrible shot. Terrible shot by Dillon Brooks, but also the Suns' inability to foul on the rebound afterwards. The Warriors basically were able to get out whatever remaining clock there was. Like, the Suns could have given themselves a chance to win this game. Now, we have said it over and over again, and most of the time it's been a good thing, but you got to let Dillon Brooks be Dillon Brooks. Tonight, 24 points, 10 of 14 from the field, 2 of 6 from deep. Obviously, what made him 2 of 6 instead of 2 of 5 is what everybody's going to remember. How frustrating is that final possession to you? Or is it just your best scorer, your best isolation guy in Dillon Brooks is out there. You give him the ball because everybody else is off the court and you get out of the way.
No, that was inexcusable. He dribbled the ball for what felt like 15 seconds, didn't get anywhere. At one point has Colin that he can pass it to after he comes off a screen, totally ignores him with his back to him, keeps dribbling, and then chucks up a step-back 3. Like, it was not a play that you can be accepting of as your final play there. Now, the fouling, that was just weird, the way the ball got tipped and thrown up. Fine, whatever. But there is no excuse for what Dillon did in that final play, because this offense is predicated on moving the ball. And Dillon Brooks is not the guy that you want ISO in it. If you want to try to find a way to get him the ball, fine. But no, this was just a bad play to end the game by Dillon.
So I will say this, that's what you said. It felt like 15 seconds. Well, it was actually 16 seconds.
See, I forgot 1 second in the whole damn thing.
So they took a timeout to advance the ball. He catches the inbound pass on the left side of the court, dribbles all the way to the right side of the court. And again, he got it with 24 seconds. That shot goes up with 8 seconds left on the shot clock. So it was 16 seconds, not one pass. Guys are kind of standing around watching. What I thought was going to happen, I thought that Jordan Ott was going to call a timeout when it looked like the possession was going nowhere fast because, listen, we've seen Dillon make it happen before. He had made it happen in this game, but it was pretty evident about the 15, 14-second mark that possession wasn't going to be one of those possessions. I would expect a pep play, something like that to set somebody up. I just don't think an ISO was what you wanted in that, especially for a contested step back three. I just didn't like it.
I cannot imagine that was what Jordan Ott wanted. And if it was, probably take away the coach of the year consideration with that.
Okay.
That's where I'm at, Eric.
Like, chat's angry, you're angry, I'm angry. I'm also tired, so maybe I'm not as angry.
What kills me, though, and I love you, man, but you said, well, hopefully this one game won't matter. You were the guy getting on me in November that one game could matter.
No, I 100% agree. This game absolutely could matter. I'm not saying that it couldn't matter. I say you hope that it doesn't
Hopefully.
matter.
Okay, that's fair.
You hope for it. I mean, Golden State now moves to 28-24 on the season, right? The Suns are now 31-21. They're still 10 games above 500. And again, I'm definitely frustrated about this loss. I'm frustrated about that final play. I think part of that's on Jordan Ott. I think part of that's on Dillon Brooks. I know it's so cliche to say, but it is a make or miss league. That could be a terrible shot if Dillon Brooks hits it. Then we're sitting here talking about you always have to trust Dillon Brooks. You never have to not trust Dillon Brooks.
No, we'd still say it was a terrible shot, but he made it.
Yeah, it's just
we would have called it no, yes.
Yes.
I mean, it was a really, really bad loss, but it also wasn't just that final possession. I think that's what really frustrates me. It's that it's not just, okay, Dillon Brooks' final shot, it was a close game, but the Suns being up, and then at the end of the game, the Warriors clearly going on a run, right? Grayson Allen gets injured, which we'll talk about here in a second, but the momentum is very much shifting back into the Warriors' favor. And we were sitting there, we were talking about it, and it's like, Mark Williams not going to check back into this game. Now, usually when Oso Ighodaro closes, I think you can clearly say that Oso Ighodaro was playing a better game than Mark Williams. Tonight, that was not the case. Oso didn't play terribly, but Mark Williams was eating this team's lunch in the first half and only ended up with 23 minutes. He could have at least played the last 3-ish minutes. He'd stay well under 30. You're not on a back-to-back. And kind of stop the bleeding a little bit. Defensively and offensively, Mark Williams should have been in that game. I do not understand the decision to not sub him in once the Warriors at least went and then took the lead with 2 minutes left on a turnover layup from Santos.
If Mark's in there, you don't see De'Anthony Melton take that full court trip down the lane for that easy layup down there. There were multiple times they got easy into the lane with no pushback on the defensive end, and that was how they get a 22-5 run to close it out. Was there was little resistance in the middle, which is what Mark would have given you. Now I'm sure we'll get some kind of explanation from Ott as to why he went that route, but to the layman eye, it looked like that could have made a big difference. And I want to make it clear, I'm frustrated with Dillon Brooks' shot choice there at the end. I'm not frustrated with Dillon Brooks as a whole for the year.
Anybody who's taking this game and making it a whole, and I know, like, for some reason, Gil, these last couple of days, I don't know what it is, man, but like, look, I'm a Suns fan. Everybody knows that. Breaking news. And I'm an emotional Suns fan. And I have still just been floored with the big picture overreacting doomsday with any negative thing that's happening with the team. They were down early to the Trailblazers 2 nights ago, and you would have thought that, like, the franchise got sold and they're moving to Utah like the hockey team. Like, again, people are freaking out.
Now Utah gets 2 NBA teams?
They might have to get one. I mean, no, but that's the thing to me is, like, I'm mad about this game. I'm mad about when the Suns don't play well. But with the trade deadline and people freaking out about them not making a move, with the team struggling now a little bit without Devin Booker and Jalen Green, which is an excuse for tonight, but it is context. I refuse to put myself in a spot with a team that is still 10 games above 500 to take tonight and make it a bigger deal than tonight.
I'm mad about tonight, right? Like, I think that's the thing that's frustrating, kind of what we talked about, is just that, like, you're playing against this team from your division. There's been a lot of trash talk between their guy who was available and your guy who was available, and you just come out flat. I think that's what's so frustrating about this game. It's like, how can you come out flat in this spot? And I recognize, again, I know we kind of joked, at the Open that, you know, those guys are holding the vibes together. And I get that it's an emotional day, regardless of if a player is in the rotation or not, when two guys who are used to having in the huddles with you, in the locker rooms with you, all of that aren't there anymore. But that's not an excuse to come out flat against this Warriors team who you've got to feel so bad. Like, that feeling of watching Steph run on your court in street clothes, beating his chest with Draymond Green, who was saying, I'm sure, whatever, because he was vindicated and the winners go the spoils.
Because he did nothing.
Like that, you like that feeling, especially letting them do it on your court. That's frustrating. You can't let that happen, man. That's frustrating. I'm upset. I'm upset about that.
I can make us more upset here.
Oh, God. How bad is it?
It's just being called a right knee injury.
So it's the knee. So it's not knee. The ankle.
It's not an ankle.
That's not good.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. So I guess getting Cole Anthony looks a little bit better now. I look, that'll be the lasting thing that'll be a point of frustration from this game, is if Grayson is out for any significant amount of time. Yeah. That'll be the really frustrating thing. I mean, this is a frustrating loss, and in a season where we know that one or two losses could make the entire difference. Like, you go back and look at a team that I've compared this team to, the 2013-14 team that won 48 games and missed the playoffs. It was one game that made the difference between that. So the little things will matter. And tonight was just such a non-Suns game. And I think they'd be the first to admit to you that was not the kind of effort that they've been known for, and that they'd be disappointed in the effort that they put in. But a Grayson loss on top of it, and it being a knee injury, is concerning, especially the way it happened.
And that's the thing. It's funny. Anime and Hoops in the chat said I was being annoying, so I'm sorry about that. I'm just not trying to overact big picture. But if Grayson misses significant time, that is a big picture struggle for this team. And again, like, Grayson was so good tonight. In fact, Grayson's going to get an award for us tonight. Let's go ahead and give out our Dude of the Night, presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playedgila.com for more details. I mean, Grayson Allen did everything tonight, and he did it quietly. 21 points. He got 5 3-pointers in, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, add a steal in there, a +4 in his 33 minutes. He was huge and making big plays late, and it was when he went down that really felt like this game, it was already a little bit swinging back into the momentum. Grayson had an assist to Oso. Momentum seemed to even out a little bit, and then boom, Grayson goes down, and it feels like this team just kind of falls away with it. And if Grayson Allen is out now for an extended period of time, which we don't know. We don't know. We'll have to look for the next injury report. But if we're getting doomsday here, which is kind of what it feels like in like the general mood today is, if we're getting doomsday, was, okay, we are not going to see this team fully healthy until when? The last time Grayson had an injury, he was out for a month.
Honestly, we may not see this team fully healthy at all this year with the way it's going. But good news, when you win due to the night, you actually get Gil's right knee, so problem solved.
I'm not using it, man. You might need to get the rust off it a little bit. I'm not using it. You got it, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, this Gil, that's the gut punch to this is an injury on top of it. You, to Eric's point, you can look past one loss, and decide to be all right with it. But if you've lost Grayson for any time, that becomes a very difficult thing to swallow.
Right. And to your point, like, it's an 82-game season, and there are games that you've won that you probably shouldn't have won, and it evens out. These things happen. Like, you don't really go throughout a season without having at least a few of these losses. However, as you said, you would have at least said, oh, man, well, at least we didn't lose anybody in the process. And, I mean, I would have been saying this if they had found a way to win the game, because Grayson Allen means so much to this team. We've talked so much about that, and especially when we're having the conversations about keeping him or letting him go in trade talks, it's like, man, he means so much to this team. And now we have no idea. It could be something that's fine by Saturday. It could be something after the All-Star break. We don't know. But to be on alert about that now and add that to the equation makes it even more frustrating.
I mean, this is also just really bad timing.
Yep.
I mean, you can only go claim guys off of waivers now, right? Like, there's nothing else that you can do. For this to happen on trade deadline day, when, again, some fans, maybe understandably more so to some, like, are frustrated with this team not making a move to get better. If you lose one of your guys, that's clearly the foundation of why you've been so good, especially without Jalen Green this season. That would be really unfortunate. We'll talk to Steven here in a little bit about what he had to hear. We'll keep talking about Grayson Allen's injury. This Suns loss, was it the worst of the season? We'll read your super chats, and we'll thank a very special MVP, and we'll do it on the other side of our first break. Sometimes crap happens, and that's why all the time you need to call the husband and wife law team, because Mark and Alexis Breyer, they lead a team that brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience with multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. Now, a certified specialist by the State Bar of Arizona is less than 1% of all lawyers. That's right, in specialization in injury and wrongful death litigation. They actually go to trial, and their practice is 100% dedicated to that as well. Plus, they're happy to make you and all their clients guarantees. They guarantee that you can cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. You'll receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney's fee to do so. And you may speak with one of their lawyers as often as you choose about anything that you would like to discuss, and they'll always be upfront and honest with you about all the strengths and the weaknesses of your case. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them that PHNX sent you. Me driving off the cliff of optimism.
Left, right?
Yeah, it was left.
I'm turning left.
Go right, you're going into a wall. It is Phoenix Raceway. It is NASCAR and the NTT Indy Cup Series coming March 5th through 8th out there at Phoenix Raceway, the most beautiful venue in the state. Hands down. You got to get out there, Gil, and experience it. You can watch a race actually from a mountainside. Where else are you going to be able to do that? Not anywhere but here, that's for sure. And the NTT IndyCar and NASCAR are racing not only on the same weekend, not only on the same day, but on the same track. Not at the same time, though. For the first time ever out here in Phoenix. So you're going to want to check it out. Plus, you're going to get the best access in motorsports. You're going to get inside the garage, walk the track, meet the drivers, and catch a pre-race concert. There's no sport that brings you closer. You upgrading to that Desert Diamond Casino infield experience. So make sure to secure your seats now at the link in our description for the NASCAR NTT Indy Cup Series weekend at Phoenix Raceway.
That was a really brutal game, and that really sucked, and I get everybody's upset, but hey, it wasn't our fault, so could you please hit that like button? Please hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 50,000 subscribers. The only thing that could save the night is if we hit that 50,000 subscriber mark. Want to thank a brand new MVP in the chat. Thank you to Faceless Doink, who just became a member.
MVP.
MVP. I don't know why I find that name.
I mean, it's
so
a great
funny.
name. Faceless
I'm
Doink's
5.
a great name. Faceless Doink, you now get access to all the faces and our exclusive emojis, exclusive content as well, and a prepaid super chat for every month that you renew as a member for just $5 a month. It is true sicko level stuff, and it's so easily accessible. Also, even more easily accessible now than ever, we have a brand new Die Hard sale for the big game. Nope, not tonight's loss, but of course the Super Bowl. 60% off Die Hard memberships right now. That means $32 for 1 year, which is regularly $80.
We can't say that phrase, so we mean the superb owl.
Yes, the superb owl. The Super Bowl, Warriors versus the Suns. Big game. Look, obviously a lot of football stuff going on right now, but you can become a diehard, get all the Suns content and all the other content we have here, plus access to our diehard Discord, where I'm sure everybody is crashing out right about now.
Thon, how is this? Thon says in the chat, it's mostly Espo and Dillon Brooks.
I agree.
Did I dribble out the clock? Did I not?
I didn't see you pass the ball.
Did I not perform tonight? I'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean, look, if any group of people tangentially related to Phoenix Suns basketball performed today, it was the PHNX Suns crew. Breaking news, deadline watch along, Southwest bias, pregame, postgame show. Yeah, I think it's us.
We put in the effort.
Can we give ourselves due to the night?
We're definitely blue collar boys. I'll say that. We work so hard.
Well, okay. Well, since you
mentioned
mentioned
one of them,
let's go ahead and give our blue collar boy of the night here. Okay. You know what? We'll save it. The blue collar board will be deliberating on whether or not this goes to the PHNX Suns crew or it goes to somebody else here. Let's not crash out about Grayson's injury just yet, although it is unfortunate for sure.
Too many ISOs. Thought that I had too many ISOs.
Too many ISOs tonight. We don't even have the one shot.
You caught me.
Let's read a couple super chats here before we give back to Blue Collar Boy. Trevor with a 199 super chat. Thanks, Trevor. Says, can we learn how to guard threes? How do we not learn? 20-55 for the Warriors tonight. That is good for 36%. We could take a look at some of the numbers here just overall, but I feel like, yeah, the Suns didn't guard the three that well, but I also don't feel like they were just letting the Warriors take shot skill. It felt like the Warriors just had a very clear game plan tonight, which was, we're going to take as many threes as humanly possible to try to even out the talent gap.
Yeah, first half was frustrating, but I will point out they were 5 of 18 in the second half. And then the offense in general, that game slowed down on both sides. Like, the fact that the pace was what it was in the first half, the team hit 15 threes, and that both teams finished right around 100 points. The Warriors only got to 100 because of that layup at the end of the game. I think that, if you're thinking the bigger picture, we talked about it last game in Portland. That was part of the game plan against a team that didn't shoot the ball very well. And I think that might have been a similar game plan tonight, in that you're like, hey, let's see if Pat Spencer can beat us from beyond the arc. He can. Let's see what happens if you give Gary Payton 6 3-point attempts. He hit 50% of them. So, Gui Santos hit 50% of his 6 3-point attempts as well. So, like, that's kind of what we talked about coming into tonight. Like, these guys are punching up a weight class and played outside of themselves. Like, career high threes for Pat Spencer, and I'd look it up. Maybe career high for Gui Santos as well. So those things kind of happen sometimes.
How do they not know a guy like Pat Spencer with a mustache like that could score? If you know, you know.
That's a fair point.
But I mean, Pat Spencer has been shooting very well this whole season, right? That's not new, but it's tough when, and this isn't an excuse, but this is just in general, when the guys that you usually game plan for are not on the court, right? And there's so much attention when Steph is on the court, or Jimmy. And like Draymond, his attention only comes when those guys are on the court, right? And what he can do is really limited without those guys. It's kind of harder to maybe make up your mind defensively in a moment. It's like, well, do I really need to close out fast on Gui Santos, or do I need to close out faster on Pat Spencer, or do I need to close out faster on De'Anthony Melton? I mean, it was really just a death by 1,000 cuts for the Warriors tonight. And credit to them, they hit their shots, and the Suns didn't play great defense. But it is a lot of times harder when you play these teams without a clear head of the snake to maybe adjust to that. My problem was they adjusted to it, and then they unadjusted in the fourth quarter.
That's what that I don't care about the 3-pointers that were made early in this game. It came down to 22-5. How do you give up a run like that when you're up 14 in the fourth? You get 1 or 2 other stops. You make the right play there at the end, and you know what? It looks like a bad stretch, but you still win. Like that's what bothers me, is you still could have won even with a bad stretch in that fourth, but you did not find it in you to do the things that you have done in that final minute to actually win that game.
I think that what stands out, I think we were in a similar position looking at it from our viewpoint against the Nets. The Nets didn't have enough guys and didn't make enough plays down the stretch, but it was another one of those games where, you're kind of wiping your brow, but kind of laugh and joke around about it or say what you want. But there are some guys on this Warriors team who have played in the finals before and won championships before. People talk about championship medal or championship DNA. Those guys dug deep, whether it's Al Horford, Moses Moody, guys who have had big moments, and you could see that on that stage, and that Gary Payton II, just chipping away. And that's what it looks like in real time, because even when they went down 14, they weren't like, oh, okay, well, you got it this time, Suns. We'll get you next time. It's like, no, like, we're going to keep playing until you put us away, and they didn't get put away, and that's how they won the game.
Yeah. I'm being distracted by the chat. Everybody's saying, oh, Grayson has a tore ACL. No, okay. If he tore his ACL, he wouldn't be walking like that.
I don't know. Lindsey Vaughn's about to ski down a mountain with one, so I don't know. Maybe
he did walk directly to the back.
By the way, Chase said good night.
No, we need to keep the viewer. Don't say good night.
Yeah, I'm being kind.
That's fine. I hope you have a good one.
I would say if it was that, we wouldn't know. It's been an hour since it happened. Yeah. We just gotta let him get his MRI or whatever they have to do, and we'll find out when we find out.
Let's take a look here at the rest of our super chats. Always love looking at our super chats from you all. Don Davies, always great seeing you in here. Don Davies said, God's really testing me with all these injuries. Also, Isaiah Livers exited with a shoulder injury. I don't know how long that's going to be. Maybe
like
just pop that
dislocation. The way he was holding it.
Shocker Draymond Green involved in that play. But he has been a very good rotational piece for the Suns, getting minutes obviously over a guy like Rasheer Fleming. Although I did like what Ryan Dunn showed tonight. After Isaiah Livers went down, hitting a 3, having a dunk 2, grabbing some good rebounds. Not like outstanding stats, but I felt like we saw a good Ryan Dunn game tonight.
Better than we've seen recently, and the efforts there. If Livers is out, he's going to get some opportunity. But I think it's interesting that everybody earlier in the day was complaining about the 2 guys that they got, and it happens to be 2 positions that you just suffered injuries in, where Coffee can play that spot that Livers is in. Obviously, Cole Anthony can be that backup to the backup to the backup at guard, which now apparently you might need as well. Like, there's things happen for weird reasons, and maybe those trades were part of a weird reason that we saw tonight. But Ryan Dunn's going to have to work to get those minutes, and is going to have to work, even if Livers is hurt, with Coffee on the roster now. So it was good to at least see him try to find some kind of rhythm.
Yeah, I'll say it again. It's like a broken record, but hang on to the good moments with Ryan Dunn. He showed some flashes, and we just hope that those things become things he's doing with more regularity. And Don Davis, listen, toughest battles, strongest soldiers. We're all fighting the good fight, brother. We're getting tested too.
Yeah.
You're getting indoctrinated to this already.
Yeah, I mean, the Suns closed tonight's game without their presumably 3 best offensive players in Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and Grayson Allen. Of course, 2 of those we've seen.
I thought you were saying Dillon Brooks's brain fart was the 3rd. He wasn't out there either.
Well, and so this is the thing, right? Where you look at how they close this game, and part of it is I guess by choice from Jordan Ott, but like their starting center wasn't in the game. Devin Booker wasn't in the game. Jalen Green and Grayson Allen weren't in the game. And then Dillon Brooks was. And maybe Dillon Brooks looked around and said, okay, I have to be the hero. Now, that doesn't excuse that final possession. Hova Dude, with a $9.99 super chat, thank you. Terrence, we'll get to yours in a second, says, to all the fans saying this is Brooks' team, there's only 1 star on this team. His name is Devin Booker. That last possession was bad basketball. Yeah, it was bad basketball. But he looks around and he says, okay, well, maybe should have gotten the ball to Colin Gillespie, right? Who had a much better second half than first half, and hit a couple of threes. Other than that, who was on the court with him? Oso Ighodaro, Royce Neal, Royce Neal.
The O's gone because they couldn't score at
Jordan
the end
Goodwin.
of the game.
There you go. And Jordan Goodwin, right? So again, he should have moved the ball. I'm not saying he shouldn't have moved the ball, but Dillon Brooks is like, okay, well, even if everybody else was on the court, I might be the one taking the shot. I'm going to take the shot. Doesn't excuse it, but I think that's what that mentality was.
What bothers me, go back and watch it. He gets the screen from Colin.
Yeah.
And he turns his back to him, which is like the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do when you get a screen. And Colin was open at that point. That's where I get really frustrated in it. He turned and faced the sideline, which it wasn't like there was no logical reason to do that.
So. And score on the sideline. I was going to say, I think, again, like a dribble handoff, a ball screen, a pass.
Literally, even if you ended up taking a bad shot.
Even if you get the ball back after passing the ball, I just would have liked to see the ball moving again. You know, we're reminded, I think, back to Devin Booker's shot against the Thunder and his shot against the Warriors, of a reminder of how special he is, especially in those moments.
Terrence's Tidbits, great name, with $4.99 super chat, says, missed a golden opportunity. Seeds 3 through 7 are separated by 2 games. I hope this loss doesn't come back to bite us in the playoff play-in. Now, I don't know if the Warriors, given their injury status, and they've been able to stay afloat a bit, are going to be legitimately in a threat to stay up with the Suns if the Suns can continue to play at this rate. But what is really unfortunate about tonight is the Lakers picked up a win over the Sixers. Okay, so the Lakers move up. But the Rockets lost. The Rockets lost to the Hornets. They've lost a couple in a row here. Things are seeming to kind of come off the rails over in Houston. Ime Udoka throws Alperen Şengün under the bus after Alperen Şengün couldn't get a stop or score in tonight's game. You saw KD getting mad at him too. You have a 10-point loss to Charlotte, who's the hottest team in the NBA right now. It's unfortunate that you weren't able to at least pick up a game on Houston tonight where you were playing a Warriors team that was clearly less talented than you. That sucks. It really sucks. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully Grayson isn't injured for a long time, but yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, we said it like because the Rockets falling apart was happening during pregame, and we were like, okay, this doesn't matter if you don't go and win tonight. And, this team had an opportunity in front of them, and it won't be the last one in front of them. Let's be clear about that. But it would have been pretty good to keep the pace because, the further we get in this season, we're now 52 games in. There's only 30 games left in the year. And that seems like a lot until you get to All-Star break and it's 27 games and then it's 25. And now you're in the stretch run and you just want as few times as possible throughout the season to think we wish we could have had that one back. And this is on the short list of games that this Suns team will say that they wish they could have back. It happens, but you just don't want it to happen again anytime soon.
Luckily, All-Star break is coming. It might be coming at the right time.
When we needed it. One last super chat here before we hit a break from Riddle. Thank you, Riddle. Always great with the super chats. 499 says they're holding onto the ball too long instead of moving it quickly and swinging it around until someone gets open. That is what I like to call the Devin Booker effect because nobody's really getting open because nobody's having somebody move because of the gravity. However, you need to still pass the ball. You still need to move it and probably have a play drawn up. So who gets blue collar boy? Is it us or is it a mystery recipient that is in the running? Yeah, we're going to tell you exactly who that mystery recipient is and actually if we beat them out for it on the other side of our final break. The Window Depot, right? They've been here since 2002. They're consistent. They're steady. It's not like the Suns tonight where they just couldn't hold a lead. They couldn't play consistently. No, since 2002, the Window Depot, well, they started with windows. Now they're offering doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, and more, all in stock, ready for pickup. Look, contractors love the Window Depot, whether it's a big multi-build project or maybe just you're going to renovate the nook in your kitchen and you want to have a couple of builders come in.
You say nook?
Not Nookie.
Oh, okay.
The Nook. Look, 7 locations across Arizona with windows proudly manufactured here locally. Whether you're remodeling a kitchen or tackling a multifamily build, their expert staff and no membership policy make it easy to get what you need fast. Plus, if you need a little help bringing your ideas to life, in-house designers are there to help you plan your space. And guess what? They're absolutely free. That's how much the Window Depot cares. Visit thewindowdepot.com or stop by one of the Window Depot's 7 Arizona locations. See for yourself why they're way more than just a window store.
Gil, can I give you a pro tip?
Absolutely.
With our friends at Mountain America Credit Union, you can get the Suns card, but on a night like tonight, I say you open a second account. You get the Mercury card, so you don't have to show your Suns card when you go out there, all right? Because that's how great it is. Mountain America, you can get the Suns card, the ASU card, the Mercury card. You can have a whole wallet full of your favorite teams.
I need all 3 of them things.
And you can get it with the My Style checking account or the credit card. But I love the My Style checking account because you get restaurant deals, mobile phone protection. So when you throw your phone at the television on a night like this, you can get your phone replaced, not your TV. Identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. You can make My Style, no, not this loud polo, but My Style, your lifestyle. Who would? At Mountain America Credit Union, visit macu.com/MyStyle, insured by NCUA. Membership required. Based on eligibility, some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, help PHNX get to 50,000 subscribers. We're less than 200 away. Can you believe it? We're going to name our blue collar boy, but we need our blue collar czar to do it. So we're going to get Steven in here in just a second. Y'all got to hit that like button if you want to see Steven, though, because that ain't free. You got to hit that like button. I mean, the like button's free, but we're going to hold him
What are you, Steven's pimp?
Until you do. Never say those words again. I can see Steven behind the scenes right now.
Steven ain't free.
His head vigorously.
Steven ain't free.
Look, we'll get to Steven here, but first we got to have his intro because there was a post-mortem tonight at the morgue. Unfortunately, it just wasn't for the team that we wanted it to.
Steven ain't free.
No, Steven is free for the people. He's here for the people. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for Steven. Now, look, as much as I'd love to talk about Suns basketball with you, Steven, I just want to know, have you listened to the Fall Off yet?
Now, how in the world would I do that?
Well, I just figured that
he just watched it out there. Why does he need to listen to it?
I was gonna say you
very,
might have
very good point.
You might have just kicked your feet up and clocked out for the end of the game like everybody else in that arena.
Now I'm not capable of doing such a thing, but yes, I know I haven't. Obviously I'm seeing a lot of stuff about it. trying to stay focused.
So, Steven, before we ask you about the game and all the injury updates, we have a very important matter to discuss, okay? So, we have not given out our blue collar boy of the night. And I came to the realization during the show that I think the PHNX Suns crew should be in contention for blue collar boys of the night, considering the workload that we put out there. But I'd like to introduce everybody to our competition for tonight. And Steven, you can decide who it's going to be, because our other blue collar boy of the night is this guy. I don't know his name, but we have just this guy on the thing. This is the mop guy. Is that what we're calling him?
He's the ball boy.
Ball kid?
The ball boy mop the floors too?
Yeah.
You
they towel down.
Are you out there wiping up the sweat?
I was a mop guy, actually.
Mop guy.
Yeah, but
we should have changed the name to Mop Guy. But Steven, I don't know if you saw on the broadcast, but when Ryan Dunn got the steal that he got this game, this guy was at half court. He was making sure everything was good, and he sprinted and dove out of the way. So who gets blue collar boy of the night? Is it this guy or this crew?
The answer is yes. We put the work in. We put the work in and earned it no different than my man's did. Bro is doing his job and doing it well. To the point where I was worried about him getting caught in limbo a couple of times. Now he was getting out of there. I always kind of laugh at those moments because as a kid, I watched a lot of tennis. Shout out Venus and Serena Williams. But the ball kids in tennis, very agile, very, very nimble ankles. They get in and out of cuts like the tennis players themselves do, whether it's clay or grass or any other type of surface. That's kind of what my man tonight was doing. He was getting in and out of there. He found the spot. It's not easy to keep track of a spot on the court while there's God knows how many people in the stands and a live game happening where you have to keep tabs on where the ball is, where players are, and what might be happening in action coming towards you. We can get it another day. I feel like we earn it every day, to be honest. We can give it to my man. Shout out, bro.
Wow.
Would he have gotten a clear path foul if he had taken it somebody out there?
No, apparently from earlier this season, that becomes a technical foul on the Suns. If something
Dillon
of that
Brooks, oh my God,
happens.
he's suspended.
Crazy. It's crazy, but yeah. Remember, I can't remember what team that was earlier this season that got a tech because they said the ball boy or something like that got in the way and got an interference with the play. It's ridiculous.
I think it was New Orleans.
Those New Orleans ball boys, man.
Can't take them. Trust them as far as you can see.
Okay, Steven, I've got to ask, man, this was a really bad loss. What was the injury update on Grayson Allen? We heard right knee injury. Was there any more specifications to maybe the severity of what this potential right knee injury for Grayson Allen could look like?
No, obviously they have to undergo some type of, or if they think it's something that needed imaging in some capacity, they wouldn't receive any info until probably tomorrow with that. They just said it was a right knee injury. As far as zooming in on what the specific injury and injured body part was, that's all they had for us. I can say he was walking around in the locker room under his own power after the game. Wasn't available to talk to the media. But he was doing everything under his own power. So you take from that what you can. He was moving under his own will.
So I think the consensus, and I think you probably would agree, this is a bit of a disappointing showing. For you, what was the most disappointing part about what we saw from the Suns tonight? Because I called it uncharacteristic, and I think that in some ways the Warriors Suns the Suns. So what was it like from your viewpoint?
Yeah, you got to finish your food. They left just enough on the plate. And you do that, I mean, obviously they're operating without Steph Curry, but Draymond Green is still there. Steve Kerr is still there. It's championship DNA written all over that team. You leave that back door open, they're going to take that opportunity and extrapolate as much from that as they can. And that was in the form of them finding their footing defensively, switching a little bit more in the fourth quarter, and then that kind of spurring their offense. They're getting it rolling, knocking down some threes after a really cold stretch in the third and early fourth quarter portion of the second half. So yeah, the Suns have to do a better job of managing games late. Obviously, some of that comes down to them not having Grayson Allen, who I've spoken to a lot for running their offense, especially in these kind of close late game situations of late without Devin Booker and Jalen Green. You take him away, and then Dillon losing a little bit of his rhythm late in that game on offense as well. That's the perfect storm for a team like Golden State, who has one of the better defenses in the league, to do what they do best in terms of churning defense in the offense. So, again, I think key number 2 today was finding your flow and kind of sustaining that in the half court. They didn't do that when it mattered most. The offense was really bogged down, very slow and predictable. They got to keep themselves out of those spots. And I think Colin Gillespie spoke to that in postgame.
Did Coach Ott explain the decision not to go back to Mark Williams at all in that back half of the fourth quarter, despite him only playing 23 minutes?
Yeah, he said he liked what Mark was providing for the team and what his energy levels were in today's game. He felt like it was kind of a rhythm thing with Oso and them being able to do some of the things that they felt they needed on the defensive side. And it's not that Mark was bad with that. It's that when they need to force turnovers or they want to speed up a game, Oso is typically the option there. And I think you see reflection in the turnovers. I think Golden State only had maybe 2 or 4 in the first half, and they end up finishing with significantly more in the second. A lot of that is because Oso was on the floor and kind of able to speed them up and do some of the things within their defensive process that makes them the team that they have been this season in terms of the turnover rate. So they wanted more of that, did not get enough of that, but that's independent of what they didn't do in the half court on offense.
If you go back in time, you take the result, like, you know the result, but you don't actually take that into consideration. Do you feel like that was the right move?
That's a tough call, honestly. And I say that because the way that second unit was running in the second half in particular, that's what the kind of differentiating group was. Now, naturally, you put that lineup on the floor, that means there's a ton of Oso on the court with that. And obviously his minutes were good for the team tonight. But I think at some point you might want to just throw Mark back in there to see what it looks like, because I think for all intents and purposes, the early part of the game, Mark was finding those offensive rebound opportunities, but the Suns were also finding him just around the basket. And at that point, they started Draymond at the 5, so you have the size advantage in a situation where you usually don't. This was a night where they maybe could have used it, but again, that's kind of a in-the-moment call, and I feel like they've had a good pulse for what the team and what the game is demanding from them on a nightly basis.
Steven, you talked a little bit about Oso and what he brought, and we've been disappointed and sulked a little bit and been a little upset about this loss, but is there anything positive that you can take away from this game? Did you see anything good from the Suns team that you're like, okay, well, maybe it can take some more of that and less of the bad stuff moving forward?
Yeah, Golden State, I forgot how many threes they made in the first half.
15.
But yeah, I was gonna say, was it 16? Yeah, 15 sounds about right.
Yep.
So they knocked down 15 threes in the first half. That means they're on pace to knock down 30 in the game. And they finished with, I think, 20 or 21 threes
20,
made in the
yep.
game. So that's a significant bump in the direction that you want your defense to go, while also significantly speeding up them in terms of forcing turnovers. I think I mentioned they had like 4 at halftime. They end up with about 16, I think, is what my box score showed. So if you're able to take away what a team is doing well and what their clear intent on the game is, which is to not just chuck up threes, but to get them within the flow of their offense, and you're able to take a lot of that away, that's what's going to usually get you a win on most nights. And them doing that on the identity stamping side for defense, it stood out a lot to me. I think the multiple efforts were there. Golden State passes the ball a lot, and I think they have an identity that's clear even without Steph Curry, that they want to get up threes, but they understand how to do it. And it's about trusting the pass and trusting the pass and trusting the pass. The Suns were solid with their defense tonight, evident by the score. And I think it's the offensive side, man. You can't have a 15-point quarter to close things against that team, even without Steph.
Speaking of the offensive side, I already blew a gasket about this earlier, but the final possession from Dillon, what did you see from it, and what was your read on it? Because everybody heard mine very loudly earlier.
I think the last possession was a microcosm of the possessions before it. It's just far, far, far too slow developing, far too predictable. The Suns, no different than the Warriors, when the team is operating slow on offense, they really take away the options you have on the table as a ball handler. And everything else from that becomes predictable because it's just moving entirely too slow. It feels like there was a lot more thinking than there was dictating from the Suns in the half court on offense. And you get to that point and you got Draymond Green barking out everything and everybody's on that same wavelength because of, the momentum they've built up. It gets tough to go against the grain against that team. So you got to find pockets to push and transition off of stops, but also be playing fast in the half court. And that's kind of the fight for the Suns in terms of balance right now on offense.
I mean, it almost felt like they strategically baited Brooks into that final play, knowing that he would tend to dribble that way. And we talked about it. He missed. Colin came off a screen, and he kind of turned his back to him and missed Colin completely wide open. It seemed like a fundamental breakdown of the principles that have run this offense for so long.
Yeah, I think it's been rare that it's kind of hurt the Suns this season, which is surprising considering how many games they've gone without their two top players. But this was a game where it really felt like they lacked having one of those guys in decisiveness kind of late in the game. Just a really slow, kind of archaic type of flow to the offense in the latter portion of the game.
Last things here, Steven. Any injury update on Isaiah Livers?
Yeah, they just said there was a shoulder injury. Obviously, we saw the play where I think he's chasing the cutter and runs into Draymond, and I think it was his left shoulder. So he just bangs it, and it's just kind of drooping down until he's able to get off the court. I think that happened. What was that, the second quarter or third quarter? Second quarter, yeah. So he didn't return to the game, obviously. No diagnosis or anything, but yeah, shoulder injury for Isaiah Livers.
And then just sum up this game. What were your takeaways from this game, and how are you going to get ready to flush it and move forward?
Yeah, I think, again, just back to the offensive side, it's about them finding their way so that they're not going to be too lenient on Devin and Jalen when they come back. I think the gift horse in operating without them is finding your way. And when you're able to find your way, you'll be able to press those buttons when those guys are either out of the lineup or maybe one of them gets in foul trouble or something like that. You don't want to be too lenient on them because I think this Suns group has just enough to kind of at least tread water and not drown when they're on offense without one of those two guys. So, again, just ironing out the kinks. I think a nice little film session and finding those pockets where they can get back to some of their go screen action, some of their screen under, stay under action against switches, being decisive and kind of quick thinking with those things. They can blend those things more into the offense in the half court.
Well, Steven, we're looking forward to talking to you in person, another 3 p.m. show tomorrow, where we're going to be maybe giving some more reactions to this game, talking about what the Suns didn't do at the deadline, and then looking ahead to the rest of the season. We appreciate you. You can follow Steven at StevenPG3. That's Steven with a PH. Talk to you soon, man.
Appreciate y'all. See y'all in a minute.
I need to address one thing in the chat.
Okay.
Melissa, you actually do have new owners for your White Sox. It's Justin and Matt Ishbia, who have bought a large portion of it, and Jerry Reinsdorf will be selling the rest of it within a handful of years to them. So welcome to the Ishbia family.
Can I read a quote for you guys?
You can, please.
Quote. It's tough. That's what Coach felt was best. We'll probably go over it tomorrow on film, but I felt good. I thought I'd get back in, but it's how the game went.
Mark. 100% Mark, right?
Mark Williams.
Yeah, he probably was frustrated too, and I don't blame him.
Right. I think the biggest thing is if they win, you understand and it's fine, but you really go out there and you think that, hey, I'm playing well, I'm fine in my pockets, and there are things that maybe aren't the best matchup-wise for me, but I think I can help my team win. They don't win while I'm on the court. You're probably going to be a little upset and frustrated about it.
All right. Give me your final thoughts on tonight's game. We've talked a lot about the Suns today. Unfortunately, the basketball, not the most fun thing that we talked about.
I will say this was cathartic. Talking with Steven always calms me down. And overall, crappy night. Horrible way to lose a game. Will not have a large impact on the remainder of the season. In fact, I think it could be a learning moment that hopefully helps this team when they find themselves in a similar situation later in the year, which inevitably they will.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. I think, again, I hate that I said this twice about this team pretty recently. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. that they could have been a little bit better, a golden opportunity, no pun intended, and the fact that it happened in front of a national TV audience. Now, I don't think that takes away from what's been said about this team lately and who this team is. I don't think that again, the Warriors also earned it and they did their part, but the Suns just left the door open, as Steven said, and they took advantage. So I think they learned from this. That's one thing we've learned about this team. They respond. They have an opportunity to respond in less than 48 hours, and I expect them to do that.
Let's round things out with these two super chats here. First one from Chris. Thanks, Chris. 499 super chat says, that ball was out on Horford on the last Suns possession. Terrible job by the refs. Also a Colin Gillespie no call at the end of the game where he got hacked when he went to the rim. So this is for Sean, who's been asking for it in chat, and everybody who's been frustrated. Furktererfs. And then Keybon 9095 with the 299 super chat. Keybon's always been gifting memberships, been awesome around here in chat recently. Says prayers to Grayson and death the Lakers.
Burk the Lakers.
Burk the Lakers. Great news from Steven about Grayson Allen walking around under his own power and having him in front of media. I feel like is maybe the biggest sign, because I think if he was really struggling, they wouldn't have had him out there.
I read nothing into anything.
That's fair.
And when he's listed as day-to-day, I'll read nothing into anything.
For next trade season, I read nothing into anything. Well, hopefully you enjoyed listening to us vent, talk, rant about this game. Lucky for you, it won't be too long until we are back here tomorrow at 3. We're going to discuss, did the Suns make a mistake not trading for more size at the deadline? Plus, we'll take a look at the buyout market. And guess what? I promise you this. We're going to have some fun. Otto will be played tomorrow. Woo! That is a guarantee. We've had it on deck, and we've been pushing it off because we've had too much to talk about. Otto will be back tomorrow. Ayrton will be running the show for Otto. We have to get him a 5th mic. We got to figure that out, but we're going to 3 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so that you know when that's all happening. Plus, we have a bunch of other stuff going on. Super Bowl week right now. ASU U of A shows still going on. Diamondbacks made a trade today. Southwest Bias every morning. We've got you covered for everything Arizona sports here on PHNX.
I've got a solution to give Ayrton a mic. You two don't need him since you ain't gonna win. So,
well, I mean, you're giving me the day off.
No, you
okay, perfect. Ayrton, you're hosting tomorrow.
You can sit there. You can sit there in the chair and watch. Steven and I kick some ass. So.
Can you give me a Psychos and Sickos Unite, Ayrton, just to test to see how you're gonna do running the show tomorrow?
Psychos and Sickos Unite.
He's a natural. He's a natural. I mean, just perfectly stated from Ayrton to get out of here. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can buy our new Dillon the Villain t-shirt. You don't always have to like the villain, but he's always the villain. On our website right now, go phnx.com. Of course, you can follow Ayrton behind the Mac, the Freckled Mamba, at Freckled Mamba. You can follow Espo, catch him on Southwest Bias every weekday morning. Had an interview with Ryan McDonough this morning. If you're a Suns fan, you definitely want to check that out. You can follow him at Espo. You can follow Gil at Gil McGregor _ You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. Ayrton, get ready because I'm going to Cancun for a pre-All-Star break. So you're jumping on and hosting tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.